If you're here, something hasn't felt entirely safe for a while. Not dangerous. Not dramatic. Just subtly unstable. You love them. You care. You want it to work. But your body doesn't fully relax. There's a quiet tension in your chest. A slight hesitation before you speak. A carefulness that wasn't always there. You replay conversations longer than you used to. You monitor tone. You measure distance. And you keep telling yourself it's nothing. But your nervous system doesn't operate on reassurance. It operates on patterns. And when patterns are inconsistent, your body notices before your mind is ready to admit it. So listen carefully. Because what you're experiencing isn't weakness. It isn't overthinking. It isn't being too sensitive. It's a psychological response to instability. And the longer that instability continues, the more it begins to reshape how you show up in love. You love them. So why does your body feel like it's bracing? Not constantly. Not intensely. Just enough. That you never fully settle. You tell yourself you're just cautious. You tell yourself you're just thoughtful. You tell yourself you're trying to communicate better. But underneath those explanations is tension. When something is emotionally safe, the body softens. Breathing deepens. Guardedness lowers. When something is unstable, even subtly, the body prepares. Preparation doesn't always look like panic. Sometimes, it looks like restraint. You hesitate before sharing something vulnerable. You calculate how a message might be received. You check their mood before expressing your own. That isn't irrational behavior. It's your nervous system responding to unpredictability. You're not afraid of love. You're responding to inconsistency. And inconsistency, even when small, keeps the body alert. In relationships, inconsistency intensifies attachment. This is a well-observed psychological pattern. Intermittent reinforcement, unpredictable affection, increases focus. When warmth is followed by distance, the mind tries harder to understand. Hope activates. Then threat activates. Then hope again. That cycle feels intense. And intensity can be mistaken for depth. But intensity isn't security. Security feels steady. Intensity feels electric. If you find yourself more emotionally focused, when things are unclear, that doesn't mean you're dramatic. It means uncertainty has increased importance. Your system is prioritizing resolution. You're not attached to chaos. You're attached to clarity. And when clarity is inconsistent, attachment works harder to obtain it. Over time, this doesn't just affect how you feel. It affects how you behave. You become more careful, more measured. You soften opinions before expressing them. You anticipate reactions before speaking. You reduce emotional exposure. In subtle ways. You call it maturity. You call it compromise. But there's a difference between growth and adaptation. Growth expands expression. Adaptation often reduces it. If you notice yourself shrinking slightly, not dramatically, just subtly, that's information. It means your system has detected instability. And it's adjusting. Adjustment feels responsible. But sustained adjustment can slowly become identity. Chronic ambiguity resets baseline. When tension lasts long enough, it begins to feel normal. Calm feels unfamiliar. Silence feels loaded. You start questioning your perception. You wonder if you're overreacting. You try to become more resilient. But resilience isn't suppression. If your body consistently feels guarded, that's data, not drama. You weren't becoming insecure. You were bracing. You weren't becoming overly sensitive. You were responding to unpredictability. Repeated responses shape self-perception. But anxiety isn't identity. It's context. And context can change. The cost of prolonged instability is subtle. It doesn't arrive in one dramatic moment. It arrives slowly. You recalibrate how much you share. You recalibrate how much you expect. You recalibrate how much reassurance feels necessary. And your internal definition of safety shifts. You may tolerate uncertainty longer than you once would have. You may work harder to create stability alone. But emotional safety is relational. It can't be manufactured by one person indefinitely. If your nervous system has been working continuously to predict shifts, that effort accumulates. Fatigue follows. Not because you're weak, but because sustained monitoring consumes energy. You were never too much. You were never irrational for noticing subtle tension. Your body doesn't brace without reason. It responds to patterns. So instead of asking, "Why am I like this?" ask, "What has my system been adjusting to?" The goal isn't to silence your nervous system. It's to understand it. Emotional safety doesn't require perfection. It requires consistency. And when consistency is present, the body softens on its own. If your body hasn't softened, that isn't weakness. It's awareness. And awareness, when acknowledged, becomes clarity. And clarity is steady. Just like safety is supposed to be. I'll see you in the next one.